Welcome. In the previous class, I showed you how to install SNMP. So let me just take you through that process again. So you right click on the start button, then click on systems. Then on the left hand side, you scroll down, you see where you have optional features. So here you can check to find out if SNMP is already installed. So if this is already installed, but if these two services were not installed, what you would have done would be to add them as a feature. Then from there you type SNMP. So they will all appear here. So you select the two services and you click add. So that's what you do. So now that they are installed, I will have to go and start them automatically. So from the run button, I'll type services. Then click on the services. So here I will scroll down and look for SNMP. So I'm going down, so I have it here. So what I will just do will be to right click here and click on properties. Then from here, the next thing I would love to do will be to start this service automatically. So I'll make sure it's started automatically. And the other thing I would love to do will be to go to security. From security, you can see from here that the community name is public. So how was this done? Normally, if you are accessing here for the first time, you see this will be empty. So you just click add. And here I'm using public. That's the default community name. It's more like a password that you use to access these SNMP services. So I'll pick read only for now. Then I'll click add, so it automatically appears there. Then I'll check this option as I'll allow accept SNMP package from any host. Then the next thing I will do will be to move to traps. So under traps, under the community here, I will add. So if you're coming here for the first time, this will be empty. So I will just click type add my community name here, which is public. Then I click on add to confirm that this is added here to the list. Then the next thing you may want to do will be to go to agents, and from here, so you may have to type the name of your organization and the location and pick all the services that you want this SNMP to gather data on. So once you're through with this, then you click apply and OK. So that's how you configure your services. So now that you've configured your services, the next thing would be to configure what is called SNMPWalk. Now the SNMP services is an agent that provides system data, while the SNMPWalk is a tool used to query and enumerate that data. So if you really want to know what's happening, what data has been gathered by SNMP, then you can use SNMPWalk to get that done. So how do you use SNMPWalk? If you open to this website using this address, it will take you to SNMPWalk. So you download this software for SNMPWalk, and this is the software that we're going to use for the configuration. So I will just click here to download. Then I will now extract the file, and I'll take you through the process on how you can use SNMPWalk to enumerate this data. So after download, I will have this in a zipped file the way it is here. So I will just right click on this zip file and tell it to extract here. So once it's extracted, these are the files that I will see. So the README here explains how to use this file, what it's all about, and it's actually, so you can expand on that, it's actually this services that we want to use. So for us to use this application, the first thing I would love to do will be to find out the IP address of my system. So I will click on this run button and I'll type cmd, click on command prompt. Then from here I'll type ipconfig. Ipconfig means IP configuration. So the system tells me that the current IP address I'm using on my system is 10.33.175.147. So I'll note that. Then the next thing I will do will be to copy the path where this SNMPWalk application is. So I'll right click here, then I'll go to properties, and from properties I will copy this path. So once I copy that path, then I'll open to my command prompt again. Then here I will type change directory to that path. So I'll type cd space path. So I've changed directly to this path. So from here I will type this command. So the command is snmpwalk.exe -r colon IP address -p 161 -v colon 2c -c public, then output.txt. So let me explain what this is all about. So this is the IP address of the current host, and this is the UDP port of SNMP. This is a version of SNMP that we're using. This public is the community key, more like the password for SNMP, and we're telling it to output this data. Don't forget what I told you, that the SNMP services is the agent that provides system data, while SNMPWalk is a tool used to query and enumerate data. So what the SNMPWalk is basically doing is asking the SNMP services to provide the data that it has gathered. You want to see the data and study it and possibly take action. So once you do that, you press enter. So the system now will now create a file called output.txt into that folder, and it will detail all that data. So let's go and see what is there. So I'm opening to the folder now, so you can see a new text document that has been created, which is called output.txt. So I'm going to open this to see what's inside. So once I open it, so I can see a lot of information here that has been recorded. So let's make this bigger so that we can see what is there. So the SNMPWalk has retrieved this information gathered by the SNMP server. So if you scroll down, you see all the information from beginning to the end. So now what does this information represent? So I'm going to explain and take you through this. I'm just scrolling down for you to see. This data. So what it has done is it's gone through the system. Look at the resources that we have in the system, the software that is running. You can even see something on CorelDRAW here, and pick up several information about what's happening in the system. So let's just explain this step by step. So looking at this document, first of all, I started by recounting how I install SNMP. Right click on the start button, went to settings, on the left side clicked on optional features, then click add feature. Then from there I choose SNMP and WMI SNMP provider, clicked add. So they were added. Then I now configure it the way I should, using community name and other parameters. Then from there I now went around to install the SNMPWalk. I said the first thing I did was to download the SNMPWalk, and I got it from this website. Then from there I went to the command prompt to find the IP address of my system. Then from the SNMPWalk I was able to find the path which I had showed to you. Then I now type this command. So now I want to explain what this command is. So the command uses SNMPWalk to query an SNMP agent on a remote system and save the result or output the result in output.txt file. So breakdown of each part. So the first one, SNMPWalk.exe, this is the SNMPWalk executable. It acts as the SNMP manager tool, send SNMP requests to a target system. And what's that target system is this. So R here means the remote host. So this IP address is the current IP address of my system. So I'm going to change this. This is the previous one I did. So this is the IP address of the SNMP agent. and this is a system running the SNMP services, and SNMPWalk will query the SNMP agent on this IP address. Then dash P colon 161, this specifies the UDP port. 161 is the default SNMP port used by SNMP agent to listen for requests, and SNMP queries are sent to UDP port 161 on the target system. Then dash V colon 2C, this specifies the SNMP version. 2C means SNMP version 2C. It uses community-based authentication. Data is sent in clear text. This must match the version configured on the SNMP service. Dash C colon public. Dash C specifies a community string. Public is the community name. Acts like a password for SNMP version 1 slash version 2C. If the community string is wrong, the agent will not respond. Then you have this greater than sign output.txt. This is a Windows command line redirection. It saves the SNMP walk output to a file called output.txt. So the SNMP service on Windows is an SNMP agent. It is a background system service that runs continuously and exposes system and network information to authorized SNMP managers. So what the SNMP service does, collects information about the computer such as the CPU and memory usage, disk and network interface statistics, system uptime and host name, running services and basic configuration data, stores this information in a structured database called the Management Information Base (MIB), listings on UDP port 161 for SNMP requests, response to SNMP queries from monitoring tools, can send SNMP traps alert on UDP port 162 when certain events occurs. So why is it called an agent? It's called an agent because it acts on behalf of the device, automatically gathers data, responds to external monitoring systems. If the SNMP service is stopped, no SNMP tool, including SNMPWalk, can retrieve data from the system. So SNMPWalk, the SNMP management tool. The SNMPWalk is a command line tool, not a service and not an agent. It is used by administrator or monitoring system to query. So the keyword is to query an SNMP agent. What SNMPWalk does is one, sends SNMP requests to the SNMP service, automatically retrieves SNMP data by walking through the OIDs, displays readable systems and network information, helps discover what information an SNMP agent is exposing. So SNMP work does not collect data on its own, it only questions and prints the response received from the agent. The SNMP service on Windows is the agent that provides system data, while SNMP work is a tool used to query and enumerate that data. So let's see an example of one of the lines of command that we got from the output. So we got something like this. We have OID, this number, type, octet string, value, CorelDRAW, and the version of CorelDRAW here. So this here is a precise, clear, precise, and exam ready explanation of that SNMP line. So explaining the SNMP line. So this section is the OID section. Then the type, you have the OID section, you have the type octet string, then you have the value. So this SNMP line is divided into three parts: OID, type, and value. So let's break down this OID for us to understand. So this part of the OID is the MIB-2 branch. Is a standard SNMP object defined for system management, while 25 refers to host resource MIB, used for information about the host operating system. Then 6 represents installed software. 3 indicates the software table, list of all applications installed on the system. The 1.2 represent HRSW install name. This specifically stores the name of installed software. For example, the HR stands for host resource, meaning it relates to the device hardware or software resources, while SW installed name means the name of the installed software on the device, and HRSW install name represent the name of the program or software installed on a computer or a device. Then dot 13 is the index number, means that this is the 13th installed application in the list. And of course, the second section, which is the data type, the type here is octet string, a text string value, and used to store readable names or description. Then the value here represents the software that is installed in the system. In this case, it's CorelDRAW Graphics Suite 2020. It's an IBM product. And this is the actual installed application name. Confirms that Corel Graphics Suite 2020 64-bit is installed on the laptop on the system. So what this line means in plain English, the SNMP agent reports that the 13th installed software on this computer is CorelDRAW Graphics Suite 2020 IPM 64-bit. Now, so what is the implication of this in terms of cybersecurity? This line proves that an attacker can enumerate installed software, once it has access to the SNMP information. Software version can be identified remotely. Attackers can search for known vulnerabilities, CVEs, pirated software, outdated applications. For example, knowing that CorelDRAW 2020 is installed help attackers look for Corel specific exploits. So defensive insight. What are we supposed to do to prevent this exposure? Disable SNMP if it's not required. So how do you disable it? Right from the services environment, if you don't want it to run, you can always right click, go back and stop this application. Or better still, you can go to properties and say let this start manually. So you will be the one to start it, and it won't be started automatically when the system is booting. So disable SNMP if not required. Then you can use SNMP version 3, restrict SNMP access by IP, and do not use the default community string. So the default community string is public, so you can use some other thing so that it will be difficult for the hackers to guess. So the summary of this is that the SNMP OID belongs to the host resource MIB software table and reveals the name of an installed application, demonstrating how SNMP can expose detailed software information. So I've been talking about OID. What does it mean? It means object identifier, and MIB means management information basis. So let's see what they are. An OID, object identifier, is a unique numerical address used in SNMP to identify exactly one piece of information on a managed device. So the MIB is a structured database that defines what information an SNMP agent can provide and how that information is organized. So in simple terms, a MIB is the dictionary and blueprint that explains all SNMP OIDs and what they mean. So we can just put it in a simple way to understand. So let's look at the SNMP as an agent, and we can look at SNMPWalk as probably a customer that is asking questions, because it just asks questions, and the OID is a book's call number, while the MIB is a catalog that explains what each calls number represents. So that's basically how this works and how you can use SNMPWalk to ask questions to retrieve information about the system, that's data about the system that are being gathered by SNMP agents. And once you find that information, then you can look at it critically, know the one that are vulnerable, and take possible action. Thank you for listening.